it's Sarah here at the Soapery, and today I'm going to teach you how to make your own Sarah's Solid Deodorant so that you don't have to buy it from us anymore. You can make it yourself. It's really easy to do. It contains really natural ingredients. It's the most effective deodorant you will find out there without any parabens or any other nasties in it. And you could be making it and giving it to your friends. All you need to do is go to our website and download the recipe. Once you've done that, it's got a little list of all the things you need. Get those ready and come back and we'll start. Okay, so now you've got all your bits and bobs together, you'll realise that this is a recipe of 3 parts. We have our parts in the pan, which are the oils and the waxes. So we've got beeswax, and we've got coconut oil, and we've got shea butter and some other things. The coconut oil that you get from the shops to cook with is fine for most recipes, soap, other skincare products, but for this product it's quite a melty product. So if you use the coconut oil from the shops that melts at the lower temperature rather than the more solid white one that melts at just 20 degrees Fahrenheit higher temperature, you're going to end up with quite a melty product. So I suggest you source yourself some of the white coconut oil for cosmetics. It's available from most cosmetic suppliers and you can get it on Amazon, and it's reasonably priced. The second thing you're going to need is a jug or a bowl full of powders, which we'll add when those have melted. And the third thing is your fragrance. We've put on the recipe what fragrance we use and how much of it to use, but you can change that. That's quite interchangeable depending on what smell you want your armpits to smell. Totally up to you. You can make a more manly smell or a more floral smell or musky, whatever you fancy. Just have a look and see if that's the sort of thing you want to make. So to start with, we're going to switch on our stove on a low heat and we're going to melt the waxes and the oils in the pan. And while they're doing that, I'm just going to talk about some other things that you'll need. Now you'll need moulds. These are the moulds that we use to make this product. They're an oval silicone mould. We use them for quite a lot of our soaps because they're quite a nice shape for soaps. The great thing about silicone moulds is that when a product is ready, you can just pop it out and it doesn't really harm or damage the product. It's not difficult. You could use something like paper cups or plastic cups if you've got some that you want to find a recycling use for after a party. That's fine, but you will have to cut them afterwards and there might be a little cut mark in your product, but there'd be quite a good use of those. What you could also use if you want something silicone but you don't have any of these to hand, they are very cheap on Amazon. You could use a large ice cube tray. You could use a larger muffin tray if you've got one. The smaller ones might make quite small deodorants, which would be a bit fiddly, but you could use a larger one. Anything that's silicone that's a good size, because you don't want a small deodorant bar. You can use that. It doesn't really matter. Just something you can pour it into. What you don't want to do is pour it into a big block and then cut it up, because it's not the sort of product that cuts up very well. It'll just sort of snap and break and crumble. And we do need moulds for this recipe, but it doesn't really matter what shape. Okay, so we're going to melt the oils and waxes and I'm going to have a cup of tea. Okay, so now that the oils have melted, we'll take them off the heat. Pop them there. And we'll start to add in the powders. You can't just put them all in at once because you just get a big powdery sludge. So just a little bit and then a stir. Now you'll see, if you can see in pan cam there, that there is a small reaction as the first lot of powders go in. It's to do with 2 of the ingredients, which you might spot. They do have a small reaction, but it's not big and it won't last long, so don't panic. Just stand a bit back because your oil is hot and you don't want it to splash everywhere. If you're quite clumsy, you might want to wear goggles for this bit, just because, in case there are any hot splashes and you don't want to get them in your eyes. So that's stirred in a little bit more. Tra-la-la. Sort of like a brown liquid now. And again. There we go. We're aiming for a brown sludge. So we'll just keep stirring. You can't really leave this at this point and go off and do something else if the doorbell rings or whatever. It's quite difficult when I'm doing this and people come into the shop because it would just solidify in the pan if I left it like that. So they have to wait. Right. Stir that in. Right, once you've got the clays sort of combined with the oils, you'll have lumps. So to get rid of the lumps, the best thing to do is to use a stick blender if you've got one. If you haven't, just whisk it maybe. Right, that's nice and smooth now, and we've got rid of the lumps. So what we need to do now, final step, is to add the fragrance. Just pop that in. And give it a gentle blend, not too much. Or because it's warm, the oils might start evaporating. As quick as you can, pop it in a jug for ease of pouring. There we go. And pour into your moulds. Here we go. Okay, so I've made a double batch of this recipe. So I've made 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I've made 15 just. So you could probably make about 7 per batch on the recipe, or you can scale it accordingly if you want to make more. If you've got a lot of sweaty friends who want a lot of deodorant. So what we need to do now is leave this somewhere to sit and cool and harden. And then when it's hard, we're going to put it in the freezer, and then we'll take it out at the end. Okay, so here we are with our bars, fresh from the freezer. They're quite cold. So we're just going to push from the bottom and gently take them out. We've got a deodorant bar, or you have. Ta-da! So there you have your deodorant bars that you've made. All you need to do now is leave them to defrost a little because they're quite cold at room temperature. Overnight is best. And then you could put little labels on if you want to sell them, or you could just keep them and use them yourself, or you could give some to friends. Giving them to friends is fine. If you want to sell them, just drop me a quick email and I'll give you the latest information on how to sell skincare and cosmetics in the UK since Brexit, because it does keep changing, so I don't want to put anything on here that will go out of date. But enjoy making them. They're very easy to make, and enjoy wearing them and having such light feeling under your arms, dry and clean. Enjoy.